in the end too, what happened was Cork started to get at the weaknesses in the down team. We did pinpoint beforehand. The down full back line was a bit of a problem. Dan Gordon was a converted midfielder, and Dan Gordon had a lot of trouble with Donegal O'Connor in the second half, and Damien Rafferty was taken off. So the weaknesses in the down full back line were exposed through this sheer weight of possession that Cork had.
Also, I think that if in fairness, looking at the game in the first half, Cork should have been probably 4 or 5 points ahead, and once they started to convert that domination, I mean, I thought it was a more emphatic victory than the scoreline suggests, really.
And here's another thing I think we should mention, because as we know, the authorities here in Croke are determined to keep the crowd off the field as they did the hurling final, the football final, and seeing the scenes that we're seeing here, and seeing something like Graham Canty able to go down to the supporters.
Michael,
I'm convinced.
Yeah, you're right. I would have been a critic, and I was a traditionalist, and say let the supporters on. But you know, this is
This is better, isn't it?
It is better.
Let's be honest.
It's a chance for the players.
Well, I totally disagree with you,
it's a chance for the players to deserve the accolades, to get the accolades they deserve, and a chance for the players to mingle amongst themselves and have a chat. They'll have plenty of time for meeting the families after.
There's an easy solution for all of this. After the initial euphoria, you could have a horseshoe of all the stewards that are there. Let the people on if they want after about 5 minutes. The GAA people will respond. They're very respectful and affectionate. They'll walk onto the pitch, and then the stewards can direct them to the various exits. I just think it looks weird to have 1,000 bouncers there in the GAA doing this for reasons that I can never understand. I mean, we're told
there's an argument each way, I guess.
I don't like those fences. It's sort of not part of the GAA culture.
But I'm sure if they get this across the line, the fences will come down.
Yeah, they will come down. The other thing about the fence down there, which I think people are being very critical of, is when it rains, it's almost impossible for people on the lower side of the hill to actually see the game.
That's right.
So there's a bit of a mist on the fence. I'd like to see the fences coming down. I'd like to see give the players 5 or 10 minutes and then let the people stroll onto the pitch.
All right, well, most of the crowd down behind those fences were Cork supporters. I think they do realise Cork actually have won the All-Ireland at this stage. We're going to take a short break here on the programme. Morrissey.
Thank you very much, Michael. Graham Canty, winning All-Ireland captain 2010. How does it feel? Because I'm sure you must have dreamt about it over the last couple of years.
Yeah, it feels great. I'm very honoured to be captain of a great bunch of lads. I think we've given the management kind of everything over the last number of years, and we were just lucky enough just to win by a point there against a very, very good downside.
What was it about the first half? Was it nerves, do you think, despite the fact that you've been here so many times, the pressure of trying to get over the line?
I'm not sure. I think we made a couple of mistakes, maybe kind of a few misplaced passes. We had a couple of chances as well. We had a couple of goal chances. Lads went for it. They were told to go for it. Just didn't come off. The downkeeper McVeigh had a great save at the start from Kieran. A couple of misplaced passes, but probably the intensity the Down were playing at, and we weren't matching it in the first half. 3
points down at the break. What was that dressing room like?
Things were pretty calm. To be honest with you, Frank Hogan usually takes charge of it, and Frank is a very calm man, so that calmness kind of transfers onto the players. And lads knew we hadn't played all that well, and Down are a very good side anyway. You're not gonna demolish a very good side like Down, and we knew we hadn't played well, but we knew also that we had to up it if we were to win All Ireland.
I said it to Conor out on the pitch after the match, but I'll say it to you again. I get the feeling that the squad again produced the goods, the depth of talent you have in the substitute bench.
Yeah, we have a very good squad. We've strengthened it over the last number of years. It was good last year, and it's even small bit better even this year. We'd the likes of Nicholas Murphy there to bring on. Nicky even got an injury, and Derek came on. Derek got injured. We're still able to replace them. We've used that all year, and we've used our 15 against 15 games at home in training to strengthen each other and try and sharpen up each other. And we've done it over the last number of years, and it's just paid fruit, I think, today.
And what was the strategy in terms of yourself? Because I know obviously we all knew you were injured, you were extremely doubtful. Did you learn from the Henry Shefflin situation for the All-Ireland hurling final that you were going to not start?
No, not really. I think Henry's situation was a very different situation, and mine was just it was on its own really. I'd missed too much football to be starting. I hadn't played in the 15 against 15 last week, and that was the final nail in the coffin really. But we have a great squad. I didn't mind. I was very happy to take my place in the bench there beside a great panel of players. I was happy out on the bench. Just to be.
I said it to Conor out on the pitch after the match, but I'll say it to you again. I get the feeling that the squad again produced the goods, the depth of talent you have in the substitute bench.
Yeah, we have a very good squad. We've strengthened it over the last number of years. It was good last year, and it's even small bit better even this year. We'd the likes of Nicholas Murphy there to bring on. Nicky even got an injury, and Derek came on. Derek got injured. we're still able to replace them. You know, we've used that all year, and you know, we've used our 15 against 15 games at home in training to strengthen each other and try and sharpen up each other. And we've done it over the last number of years, and you know, it's just paid fruit, I think, today.
And what was the strategy in terms of yourself? Because I know obviously we all knew you were injured, you were extremely doubtful. Did you learn from the Henry Shefflin situation for the All-Ireland hurling final that you were going to not start?
No, not really. I think Henry's situation was a kind of a very different situation, and mine was just, you know, it was on its own really. You know, I'd missed too much football to be starting. You know, I hadn't played in the 15 against 15 last week, and that was the final nail in the coffin really. But you know, we have a great squad. You know, I didn't mind. I was very happy to take my place in the bench there beside, you know, a great panel of players. Like, you know, I was happy out on the bench. You know, just to be part of the whole setup.
Well, you're a great captain. Congratulations to you and to Cork. Well done. Back to you, Michael.
Yeah, thanks, Marty. I'm sure he wasn't all that happy on the bench. Every player wants to play, and it was, I suppose, important for him and nice for him that, as the captain, that he did make an important contribution in that second half. Yeah,
you wouldn't like to see a player like Graham Cantley, who's given a lot to the game, to be beaten continually in All-Ireland finals and All-Ireland semi-finals, because it would be a great regret that he'd have for the rest of his life. Now he's a new and a changed man, and in fairness, they used him well. I was saying at the start, you're better off with Cantley to use him for the last 10 minutes than risk him in the first 10 as they did against Dublin. So in fairness, Conor Coonahan did learn for some of the mistakes that were, and he did bring a bit of composure to the whole proceedings. He didn't try to do anything wild, he didn't make a charge up the field, but definitely the game was turning when he came on, and he further reinforced that change in the whole mood of the battle once he was on the pitch.
I did make the point to you before today's match, the Cork having been there last year, ask you, was that going to be important today in the sense that they've been through this last year? Actually,
so in a newspaper article today, someone was making the point that this is the third 3-foot putt they're taking on the same green. In other words, and the third time of asking that you'd have learned from the mistakes of the past, take them on board. Now, it's fine out to say model victories and we were close in the past, but last year they lacked the composure and the belief in the final 20 minutes when Kerry were there for the taking. So they've certainly taken on board. Look, they've won the league and championship double.
Yes.
They've been the most consistent team in Ireland over the last couple of years, and we can talk about systems and whatever like that, but they're the best team in the country, and deservedly so. OK,
now though, let's get the thoughts of the down manager. That of course is James McCartney, and he's with Marty.
Thank you very much, Michael. James, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. Commiserations. It was very, very close, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was obviously only a point in the end. I suppose with 15 minutes to go, it looked as if Cork were going to pull away, but full credit to our guys. We were probably living on scraps a wee bit around the middle, and we managed to pull it back to one, but unfortunately wasn't enough.
You had a great first half. Were you confident enough at half time?
Well, we knew, we felt that we had a problem around the middle of the park, and even though we felt that the guys were in there were working very hard, Cork were obviously getting a lot more clean possession, and so it was a case of nearly them catching it and us trying to take it off them, which isn't a great way to work, but it was what we were having to try and do. Ambrose wasn't an option for us today, so look, our options probably weren't what we would like them to have been, but like, full credit to Cork. Like, they've been knocking on the door for 3 or 4 years, and don't think anybody begrudging their win, certainly not us.
It must be intimidating that when they take off Alan O'Connor to bring on Nicholas Murphy, when he gets injured they bring on Derek Kavanagh. It's a pretty impressive squad, isn't it, James?
Yeah, they're on mountains, all right. Like, they're just walking beside them. Graham's just passed me. They're huge men, and they're physically very strong. And look, on the day they got the better of us around the middle.
You've had a great season. I know you don't feel like that now, but considering where you were and now where you're at, All-Ireland finalists, just beaten by a point, you must be very confident and very proud of your team.
Well, yeah, it would have been nice to push on. Probably, you know, the 6 All-Irelands out of 6 wouldn't have a great burn with me, but it would have been nice to have had a fitting tribute to the guys from 1960. We had been wearing their 1960 on our jersey all year, and it was there for a reason. I probably did try and play it down as much as I could, but we wanted to try and fulfil, probably personally, on a personal note, because of the family ties back to then. But look, we just didn't manage it. But hopefully they'll feel that we've done something to try and lift their spirits.
Well, James McCartney, you're a gentleman, and you've had a wonderful year as a manager in your first year. I think everybody should be proud of you. Well done. Good job. Back to you, Michael.
It would have been nice, of course, 4 down for that reason, the 1960 All-Ireland winning team with the Jubilee team here today. It doesn't work out like that, of course, Joe Brolly, but question is, will they be back next year?
Well, I mean, it's a bit like the Dubs, you know, a great effort with limited resources. I mean, a truly marvellous effort. And, you know, again, the point I was making this morning, that, you know, 12 months ago, if you'd watched them against Wicklow being beaten down there in the qualifiers, and someone had said to you, look, these boys will be in the All-Ireland final next year. They'll beat Kerry, they'll beat Kildare, and Cork will beat them by a point. You know, you would have said, well, I mean, you're ready for the sort of the lunatic asylum. And, you know, it's been a terrific job. They fell short today. They didn't have the all-round quality. They were completely demolished in midfield, which is what Cork have done to nearly every team they've played this year. And ultimately, they were able to sort of smash and grab in the first half, but there's only so long that you can go on without at any stage getting any sort of superiority around the middle of the field. And eventually, you know, that coupled with the fact that Cork really did start to play